often that we talk about Manchester City needing to replace anybody that they have, but they did just bid adieu to a certain Vincent Kompany, and that does leave a big hole there. They haven't signed anyone in that spot there. Does that worry you any at all?
Well, of course, we haven't got to the end of the window yet, and if Manchester City need to do that business, I think they eventually will. They could play Fernandinho back there if they wanted to, and let's be honest with you, there's a question mark, I think, about John Stones after his mistakes for England. He's probably lost his England place, and Pep Guardiola wasn't picking him, was he, towards the back end of last season?
Pep Guardiola, in the past, isn't worried about playing a midfield player at centre-back. Yeah. He did it at Bayern Munich with several players. You know, when you think Martinez went back in there, so we've had lots of examples of that where he's played a centre midfielder, even a right back playing at centre half. He could even play Walker at centre half. He's tried to move him in on several occasions to play in a back three. Yeah. So I don't think there's going to be too many problems there. They've got three out-and-out centre halves, and they could have Fernandinho to join them as well.
And the main man is Aymeric Laporte, isn't he? Who played just about every game for them. I mean, we're talking about a team here who got 198 points in the last 2 seasons. So how much more do they need anyway?
John Stones is the big worry for them because he makes too many mistakes. I don't think he's developed as a player. I'm not sure he's a great 1v1 defender. And if anybody needs replacing, it would probably be John Stones. And that's why I thought Harry Maguire would be a better bet. And going back to Stevie, I didn't say he was the best player, best defender in the Premier League. The best player at coming out with the ball from the back in the Premier League.
Well, there you are, you see, a very important distinction.
If only
you're wrong. By the way, you're wrong again.
Wrong again about Harry Maguire.
I'll tell you, you know, it's tough to take one of or arguably the best defensive midfielder on the planet, and Fernandinho out of there and put him at the back. That has to weaken you. And as far as him playing centre-back, it's a completely different position. Yes, he can read the game. Yes, he's a leader. But playing centre-back is not about challenging. It's about dominating when the opposition are coming at you. It's about dominating the people around you. And Fernandinho at centre-back, for me, they're not as strong. He should be in the middle of the park. They have to go and buy a centre-back. Because the only reason they won the Premier League title last season is because Kompany came back. And he made the difference as far as carrying that team defensively. So Fernandinho, I think it's a little unfair, and I think Rob was probably right. That's what they'll do if they don't sign anybody. But I think that weakens Manchester City.
Brian, do you agree?
If injuries come along, yeah, I think there's some need there for sure. But if you look at the way Manchester City plays, and they're so good at making sure teams don't have space. And when they do have space, rarely is there space on anything other than set pieces as far as issues with height. So moving Walker back in to play a back three or play a center back position, I can see it as a solution. All in all, it's a team that's full of players, and if they need to buy, yeah, you could see them adding a center back. But I don't think it's one that is a pressing issue.
Do you know that space you're talking about that they don't give the opposition? Mm-hmm. That's because Fernandinho takes care of that in the middle of the park.
And leave him to do that.
Let him do it. Keep him there.
Sure. All right. I'm sure Robbo has a couple of things to say, but we're not going to give him a chance to respond to that just yet, Robbo. I know he's itching in his seats. Let's have a look at some of the odds to win the upcoming Premier League season. Again, like I said, not many betting against Manchester City, and that's rightfully so. And Liverpool, Stevie, we have to stick a pin there because just yesterday on the show we were talking about the workload that's placed on the front three and exactly if they're going to be able to just fire like they did last season as many times and still lost out to this Manchester City. So are you worried about them this season?
Absolutely, it is a worry. I would have to temper that with the fact that, you know what, pretty much every other team is in the same boat because all these players have been playing well through the summer. So Liverpool's front three are going to be in the same boat, but I think other teams, particularly Manchester City, have got better options when they have to make a change up front. You know, Liverpool, in my opinion, made a mistake when they re-signed Divock Origi because right now, if Mane, Salah or Firmino come out, he's the guy that steps in. And that means that your level goes way down. And if you want to take another step up from where you were and win the Premier League, you need better players coming off the bench than Divock Origi, I'm afraid to say it.
Darke, let's go out to you on this one as well, because you actually picked Liverpool to win the league this time around. So are you worried now?
I was wrong, wasn't I?
Apparently.
Right for half the season, apparently.
Yeah, well, I was right for quite a lot of the season, but I think they only hand out the silverware in May, last time I checked anyway. So it was Manchester City, but it was a terrific effort from Liverpool. I think the question, about Manchester City is, can they have that eye of the tiger again to win the title for a third year running? Might their focus just switch a little bit now to the Champions League?
With Pep Guardiola in charge? I don't think so. He's a demanding manager. He's a demanding coach. I think he'll be going on all fronts, trying to win everything. It's up to Liverpool whether they can just go that extra notch, or Man City just have one or two bad games. Liverpool are still going to be challenging very, very closely.
Yeah, just going back on that point Stevie was making, it's a good point about Fernandinho, because he is a top-class defensive midfield player, but we should make the point that they bought Rodri, haven't they, to go into that position, so they could afford to make that. So that
probably tells you that Rodri's going to play there, and Fernandinho will either go back into a back three, or he goes as one of the two centre-halves, and that's what he's done at Bayern Munich before with several players, so that's probably on the cards.
Yeah, I mean, the odds, the bookies don't give money away, do they, usually? Not usually, so, yeah, Manchester City are obviously favourites, and I think it will be between those two again.
For more, sign up now for ESPN+.